that showbiz stuff tears their relationship apart.
Mm.
Well, because it's centered around video gaming, we still both have a genuine love for the stream and what we're doing
Yeah.
and everything like that. And so it's easy to kind of like get past that moment and be like, okay, this sucked, I didn't like this, or,
Yeah.
or she didn't like that, or whatever.
Yep.
And just kind of move past it in an amicable way.
Yeah, yeah. I find with those things that like they're kind of like deeper drives to me. Loves, passions, all those things that we talk about. Where you can put some stuff aside, and I guess psychologists call it compartmentalization, but
yes,
it's also a part of mindfulness. I feel when you're on the job, when you're focused on being professional in whatever aspect you may consider that, there's a lot of different ideas of what's professional, especially on Twitch.
Right.
It might be your job to be an absolutely insane maniac that screams in the mic. That may be what you choose to do. I'm not saying...
names mentioned?
No names mentioned there. I mean, I do it sometimes. But I pick my moments. So,
I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
I would be a lot more energetic and a lot more loud if we did not have neighbors to worry about.
Yeah.
And I get in trouble a lot already as it is, because I'll hit moments of really high energy and high volume that Rock will be like, oh my god, shut the fuck up. And I'm like,
oh,
sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, I feel you, man. Like, and that's kind of why I stream at this time. I started streaming really early, and that was good for me because when I was a teacher, I was waking up really early to go to freaking rehearsals before school. So I had to be there at 7:30, which meant I had to beat the traffic rush hour and leave at about 5:30. Which is great, just an hour and a half of driving to get there, and and if I didn't leave an hour and a half and then an hour's wait, I would be late. It was great. So anyway, why did I mention that? We were just talking about, oh my gosh,
the professionalism and
absolutely, bring in the game face. Oh yeah, mindfulness, the game playing. I think video games force us to be mindful. If you play them right. If you play them right, you could be unmindful, like blame everyone else, not learn anything.
Yeah.
Not improve.
I think at the same time, it can also cause a lot of frustration and self-doubt.
Yeah.
Like if you don't perform well at a video game, and especially if people are constantly telling you like you're bad at something. Like I had a really odd experience the other day. I was playing at Diamond 2 level.
Okay.
And I was crushing, and this guy was like,
Nice.
I didn't do all of the goals, the guy did, and he was like, low key, thanks for the carry, like because of you setting up passes and doing this stuff and like blocking the stuff in the backfield, I was able to do a lot of stuff that won us that match. And I was like, hey man, that's cool. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Now this is, mind you, a 2v2 solo comp,
Okay.
which I don't recommend anybody do because it's bad.
Yeah. You'll go against duos
really
all the time.
Because I then proceeded to lose 16 matches in a row, wherein I got told I was a joke, that I should never play this game, that the guy that I had been playing with at one point was a higher elo than me, and understood because he was champ 2, and I was like, or no, he was champ 1.
Right.
And I'm like, buddy, I spent 2 seasons at champ 2, like before, this whole extra separation of stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, but okay, if you know better, cool, whatever.
Yeah.
And so I got told like all these negative things, and if I sat there and I listened to that, I probably wouldn't really, I might have done as they said and just uninstalled.
Yeah. I mean, I did that with League of Legends, man. That was also a toxic, well, is probably still a toxic game. I haven't played it for ages, but yeah, it was crazy because of the game setting. You're in there for like 30 to 50 to hour and 10-minute matches with 4 other people that you're trusting to not absolutely throw in team fights or as the role or whatever. And it gets very stressful when someone makes an error that you could go like, oh, I could see what you did wrong there, and I wouldn't have made that error. Damn trash, get out of this elo, go queue in normals or whatever. And that kind of talk comes out. I was never that person because I got bullied and I was like, I don't want to be that guy. Okay. And so, but I saw
I try
it
and
a
be
lot.
really positive in the game and say like nice shot and close one.
Yep.
And people take it in negative ways sometimes.
Yes.
I'm just like, whoa, dude, like what the?
Yeah.
And I remember when I saw No Problem on the short chat, and I was like, oh, this is great. Like I like to say no worries, like no problem. And then it became a toxic thing, and I was like,
oh, is
what
it?
the hell? Like, like I'm legit, yeah. Like,
oh shit, I didn't know that.
Unless you're saying it to your teammate, like, yeah, no problem that you miss that, no worries. But if you say it like this, like where he's like, thanks, no problem.
Right.
Like, a lot of people will see it as, oh, no problem, we got the game. We can beat these guys or something like that, which I think, is important to have a sporting kind of attitude.
Me,
But yeah, like I try and so I took an unbound anything that resembled an apology off of my short key.
Okay.
Because I found that it was causing me to stress way more. Like every time I mentioned sorry, I started realizing how much I was apologizing for mistakes. And I was like, even pros make mistakes.
Yeah.
And they don't sit there and apologize for them every time because it's just more keys pressed and more time they're not paying attention to getting back in the game.
Yeah.
And so I started doing it where I compliment everybody and, try and positively impact the emotion in the game.
Yeah.
Whether it's, whether I'm constantly, praising the opponent team or not, I don't care. If they're doing good, if they're blocking shots, if they're, whatever. I just find that, like, it builds respect and rapport amongst both teams.
Yep.
And then you can have, like, infinitely better, I barely saved up.
The other thing with ranked is if you play multiple games across time and you're a toxic shit in the first one and your enemy sees that and goes, oh, okay, oh, God, I hope I don't play with that guy next. You re-queue up, it's the same people in the game, but the teams are matched up. How are they going to think about you in that future game? Like, a lot of people don't think about games across time because they're so taken with the singular Rocket game. And I focus on this as a very abstract concept because if you're learning an instrument, you don't remember all the bad notes you do or have done. You remember the improvements. And with Rocket League, unfortunately, with a win-loss scenario every 5 to 10 minutes, you've got some pressure there to perform. And a lot of people don't see the game of playing the long game of, hey, what if I impress the enemy team with being kind to them, saying, hey, nice shot, close one, what a play. Giving them positivity such that the kind of the ethos is practice within the game. The next time that they get absolutely dunked by me, they might be positive instead of being negative to their own teammate, which is just a slight positive swing. They're not being positive to me, or maybe they just stop being toxic, and that's a 5% swing. And I love the idea of just doing a little bit, And my goal with this stream every day is, if you come here, I hope you feel 0.0005% better. Because if you do, I've done my fucking job and you get out. But if you like it and you want to stay, then fucking hang around, man. And that's the casualness I want to play this game at. Like, I don't want to be a guy that's worried about the viewers or the numbers. There are times I look at that because it's important to, if you're running a business or you're trying to track yourself. But all the time, no. I do not want. I have my freaking viewers hidden. I have them down on the normal dashboard as well for Twitch, and I only check them on certain days, like a day off. If I'm sitting there with the computer and I'm like, I wonder what the numbers were, I can look back on several days and go, oh, okay, one day was like a little off, whatever. one day was particularly great. All right, awesome. You know, it's a lot better than going through the big old fucking roller coaster of, oh no, I'm at 2 viewers for this 1 minute, and that impacts you. Like, nah. I think the other thing I love is small steps can make big journeys eventually, right? And
ooh, I like that.
Yeah, it kind of comes from the butterfly effect idea, but if I just make myself 0.05% better each day, then I'm going to be a better person at the end of the year. And that's,
oh my god, I live by
yes,
that mentality.
yes.
If I'm at least 1% better than the day I was before, I'm still a better person. And
Yeah.
it doesn't matter in what section. It could be in a skill, it could be in my spirituality, it could be in my relationships, it could be in anything. As long as I'm 1% better than the day I was before, like, you know, then that's what I aim
Well,
for.
now.
And I think that some people are so worried about like big noticeable changes that they forget to realize that they got to where they are very little bit at a time. Yeah, you know, it was the culmination of all of our life experiences that have gotten us to that point. So if you can be conscientious of it, you know, I think that you can improve.
Absolutely.
So much more. It may not be as rapid, or you may not witness it as rapidly, but your friends will notice. Your acquaintances will notice.
Over time, and we live for a damn long time if you're not silly with your health or safety. You know, we're pretty damn resilient, and the health system's pretty good. You know, it's, you know, some people are disparaged enough that they don't have that around the world, but here, where we're talking from both our perspectives, we're pretty damn healthy people. We have good food, we have good shelter, good water.
We have a lot of first world problems.
Yeah. But it's
that's the way I like to put it.
It's still an important game to play because there are a lot of levels to life. And it's not like we're better than other people for being on this like first world level.
No, not at all. I didn't ask to be born here. You didn't ask to be born where you were or into the circumstances you were.
And mad respect to anyone that's poor and having to raise a family in a fucking farm village and they don't have support from their government or they've got terrorists or whatever. I get it. There's a lot harsher lives out there. I shouldn't get defensive about that. I started this sentence. Anyway. Just being mindful. And where was I fucking going? Oh no. I went on such a tangent that my brain got lost.
It happens. Yeah. My brain does that all the time.
Oh yes, 1% improvement each day. That's the thing about learning an instrument that I learned, and really think that people should get in their heads about anything they do. It could be being a better office worker, it could be being a better dad or a better driver or whatever level of resolution you want. But find efficient ways to play your game. And whatever game that is. If it's freaking survival and you need to steal bread, go steal some bread. Because ethically, at some level, that's right to do to feed your family that are going to die. It's right to do that. Fucking, you know, break the border laws here in Australia. Yeah, go fuck yourself, Australian government. Anyone coming from a war-torn area, I welcome you to Australia. Fuck the government. I hope you get in. Come over by boat. Don't give a shit. Right? I think that's a law you can break for sure, especially if you're coming from war, because we I don't know. Anyway, I probably shouldn't say like.
No, I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah, no, I feel that politically too. I think that's a big enough belief that I can profess that on stream. Okay. But people, we need to improve each day, and it doesn't matter what level you're at, and you don't need to be kicking goals straight away. Just chill out, find out what's important to you, and do something about it, or get some goals and work towards that, and then little steps make big journeys. Like, it's way easier to walk a mile than run a mile, right? That's another way to fucking think about it.
Yeah,
you do not have to spend all of your energy every day in your journey towards a better person. Just an hour, maybe fucking 10 minutes.
Yeah,
you know. Maybe you notice like a few things throughout the day that you go, oh, okay, there was a thing. Okay. That's the thing.
I think your key, you've mentioned a couple of times, is mindfulness.
Yep, very much so. I love to talk about it without directly saying it. Yeah. Yeah, because some people have a bit
And
of a
sometimes
weirdness
it's
about
okay,
it.
like to do that, because it just, I don't know, it helps put a mentality into people's brain that they're like, oh yeah, I can be mindful about this. I can be a little bit more just careful about the words that I say and to whom I'm saying. I think that's a lot of times lost on some people.
Whoop, fuck the speed flip. Doot! You're absolutely right, man. I love playing. I love the fact that video games, they're a game, and they are hard. They have goals. They have difficulties. They have obstacles and opposition and people that play against you. There's a level of skill and experience involved that you need to develop. You need to get better. Like, no one's good at a game when they start playing it. Absolutely no one. Unless they're a freak, you know. I mean, actually, the exclusion to that, and I'll be specific because of that, is if they've played a lot of FPSs, they'll be pretty damn good at FPS. But that's why I love Rocket League, because it is the first of its freaking kind, and it is done so well in the esports arena, and I love that. I love that we are able to get out of mobbers, RTSs, and FPSs being the only esports games, or generally the picked esports games, and that we have a game that is also extremely difficult, depending on the level.
Oh, sorry.
But extremely difficult from the get-go, because you're dealing with physics. You've got a car that flies. No one's fucking dealt with that in the real world. It's got a freaking rocket strapped to its back, man.
Right. And so what's interesting about that is Tribes Ascend, a game that RocketGirl and I used to play competitively, had a lot of this type of momentum shift of going horizontal to vertical and stuff like that. And it was played on the Z-axis. And so it was labeled as the world's fastest first-person shooter.
Right.
And it had some ridiculous mechanics.
Okay.
And so a lot of the people who left that competitive community actually came over here.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yep.
I love that the physics of games are getting way, way better and complex. You know, not just for objects and freaking maps and stuff. I mean, that's cool. I get it. But after you see a duffel bag with more pixels than my freaking character, it's a bit annoying.
You're right.
Yeah, and a game that, kind of like Sea of Thieves as well, I would put that in that box for its beginning. It was a radically different game and had different kind of mechanics because of that. It wasn't just a repackaged mechanics skeleton put into a different kind of suit, and
right.
I love that as a streamer. The opportunity I found is that I can play video games and associate things that I have as an educator, like the knowledge that I have of being a teacher and seeing people learn, and even through my own experience of having myself learn how to speak and overcome language processing disorder, at least partially or mostly, and to, I guess, speak. And I love the idea of resolutions as well. I think it's very, very useful for talking to a lot of different kinds of people, which I kind of developed in teaching for myself, because I had to try and figure out ways to gameplay conversations with people that would allow me to bring them to different resolutions. And the gameplay there, it was manipulative at some points. Like, I'm a smart enough person to be able to manipulate dumb people. I don't want to do that. I want to be a genuine person that doesn't play manipulation games, that people just, want to be around. Like, there's no expectation, no manipulation, no selling, none of that in mind. I have my skills, I have my personality, and that's what I'm putting out there. And the stream allows me to talk about education stuff, all those high-resolution education ideas that I have from freaking textbooks and hours of lectures and videos, and getting really passionate with other teachers and talking about concepts. All of that can be packaged down into this low, not not completely faulty, but low resolution idea that, say, a kid can ingest, or a 20-year-old can ingest, or someone that's an adult but has been in a completely different industry to me can ingest, and in some way raise the resolution through conversation, which I think is the biggest worth I have. I'm thinking it's a great worth that everyone could have. It's certainly just a skill, certainly just a game, you know, of trying to bring an idea to light and converse that to someone else, such that they have their ideas about your idea. You can kind of check yourself and have better ideas because you're communicating with them, and I find that beautiful because I learned a lot from my students just as they learned from me. And I think the act of teaching is also a bit stale. People think it should be this, I need to tell you what to do, and this is how you pass the test, and this is what you need to know, this is what you need to know, this is what you need to do, practice this, homework, blah, 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 blah. Nah, it's not that. Yeah. I don't think it's that. I
got invited to be a teacher, and I had to turn down the position because I was like, I'm sorry, you're going to tell me I have to go by a curriculum, and I can't do that.
Yeah.
I can't do that because kids all learn differently.
Yep.
And, like, I was able to connect to one of the most problem students at this school and actually help him overcome a lot of the negativity simply by being someone that was willing to listen to him and say, well, what do you want to do? What are you interested in?
Yep.
Just by asking a kid what they're interested in, they will get miles further in an educational pursuit than saying you have to learn this by rote 100 times, because kids, they know it's bullshit.
Yep. And even a bit weirder of an aspect to that is that it's gearing you up to be graded by superiors. Since when does work need to be done for a superior? Since when can't I just gather my own frickin' resources and then put together my own damn show?
And do it for myself.
Exactly. You know, and and a lot of people are stuck in the rat race of
the proliferation of the education system being messed up for, you know, because of the Industrial Revolution and all that stuff. You and I talked about that the last time we hung out.
I need to post that video. Oh my god. Yeah, I'll post that, and that'll be great.
That was a good like conversation.
I loved it.
And it got deep.
Yeah.
Now I love these conversations. I live for these types of conversations because I think that not enough people are having them, and because not enough people are having them, you know, we have a lot of more like the typical conversations that you witness on a given daily basis right now are people screaming their opinions at each other, and for better or for worse, right? It's you know, okay, you might change somebody's mind, but are you really going to? Or are you going to, you know, actually drive them further to dig in their heels into their position, instead of saying, okay, well, you know, let's unpack that. Let's really look at that logically, you know, and I'll agree to look at your standpoint if you agree to look at my standpoint, and then let's come to a rational conclusion together. And I think that's what a lot of is not taught kind of communication wise in most education systems.
Yeah, and it can't really on a level can't be, because when you see the structure of schools and the hand that teachers are dealt, 20 to 30 kids in a room, I'm sorry, you're not able to fucking personalize education for that. That's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Unless we have AI in the back pocket doing all the work for us, there's no way. It's hard enough to fucking implement that. You could have one-to-one people developing a program for all of the students in a school to develop personalized learning plans for that student. And then still, if you had 20 to 30 with the actual instruction, the teacher just wouldn't be able to do it. And that's why I love telling people you need to have a lot of teachers in life, and everyone can teach you something. That you, like, even if you think you know everything, there's something they know that you don't.
I at any given time have had about 6 to 8 mentors across art, across business, across spirituality, across relationships, across just in general. You know, other people my age have been my mentor, simply because, you know, they were able to, and I guess in some ways I've been their mentor. Like we've cross-mentored. Because they've got some things figured out that I wasn't able to, and I've got some things figured out that they weren't able to. It's kind of sharing that brain capacity, I think is where real growth can happen.
Absolutely.
And not just sharing, but being open to the understanding that your viewpoint, your perspective, your lens on life, if you will, is not the only one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the more you can experience other people's lenses and understand different things, you can be more informed and make better decisions, and hopefully ultimately be a more decently well-rounded person. I think some people can also use that for powers of evil, if you will.
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, I got better at speaking once I started talking to people like this, and just letting my ideas flow and thinking openly. Like, it started off awkwardly because I was a teenager who didn't know what interested me and also other people. But I then grew a bunch of confidence thanks to streaming, to the fact that if I'm listening to myself and I'm like kind of interested in what I'm saying, then I'm pretty sure other people will be. At least a percentage, and that's all I'm trying to hit. Doesn't freaking matter. Geek says, I still don't like talking to people. For tyranny morons. Absolutely, man, but this is the thing, right? They're morons because they aren't having conversations. And if we can...
Or invited to.
Oh.
They're really not invited to. A lot of times.
Yeah. That's kind of a fact, isn't it, Like, it could be class struggle, it could be race struggle, it could be, class divide, race divide,
sure.
Even educational divide, the level of your speech. Like... Shit.
Well, you know what? You bring up a really good point. There was, back during the whole Black Lives Matter and the Me Too movement, like right in between the two portions of those kind of intersecting, and to say that they're over is overstatement. They're definitely not.
Dying on me.
I was trying to relate to somebody just simply to understand, and I asked a question to them to understand the position better, and this was on Facebook, and I was immediately called a cisgender white male and was told I had no business asking, and I was like, hold on, I'm literally trying to do exactly what you're inviting me to do.
Yeah.
And being yelled at for it. So you're not inviting me to this conversation. You just want to yell at me and make me your martyr.
Yeah. You know what? That's a perspective I hadn't thought about for a while, because I long removed myself from those types of people. Like, I just stopped having those types of conversations, because you start to realize the playbook,
man,
right?
I do care.
Yeah.
I care about everybody.
Yeah. And you want to be a good person, a nice person. Yeah.
Yeah. Regardless of how nice you can be about it, people don't believe your genuine nature and think you always have an agenda.
Yeah.
And
I'm going to tell you a story. I won't mention names because whatever, people won't know these people. No, I won't mention names, but in any case, I will mention their race because it is important to the story. Oh fuck, I was thinking too much. Shit.
It's all good.
I had a friend, a female friend from, I think she was Serbian. Yeah. Serbia. And she had a... Oh, are they at this point? Anyway, whatever. She had this time. She was a she this time. I'm just going to go with that. Story. Doesn't matter. She had a partner at the time who was male and white. And she freaking loved the guy because the guy was, very woke. Like, in the right ways, too. This guy wasn't an asshole about it. He was just trying to do nice things for good people and be good to those people around him that he wants to support, which is, the intersectional kind of groups, okay? And there was a rally which the person from Serbia, the female from Serbia, went to and was welcomed with open arms to come and help, and then wasn't looked at twice because she fit the criteria of a person that was safe. And I put that in those terms because...
Sure, I understand.
Because it's not an anti-racial thing. I think it's a prejudicial thing that people have because they're fighting that battle of anti-white power, anti-misogyny, anti-racism, etc., etc. If you
there's a lot of antis.
yes, and
they all overlap.
yeah. In any case, the white dude comes in. So yeah, the girl, Serbian, she's welcomed with open arms. She's female as well, which is even better for the groups. I shouldn't pose it like that, but even more acceptable and safe. A white male, her partner, comes to help and assists and does things, but he is stared at constantly by people that don't recognize him because he's a white male and hetero, or cis, whatever terminology, and. Actually, I think he was bi, but he was showing a cis because he was with his partner, a woman.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah, no, I get it.
He got ostracized from being able to help. They talked about it afterwards, and I'll summarize because it's a long story. Essentially, people started thinking they originally thought he was a cop. They were like, "Oh fuck, he's undercover. He's coming in here to fuck shit up." Blah blah blah. Anyway, no, Natalie. Sorry, Natalie. Calms him down, vouches for the guy, and she says, no, he's genuine. He wants to help. He's been to rallies, blah, blah, blah. And I know what that feels like because I went to the same rally and I played my instruments trying to bring my skill to the rally and entertain those that were spending their time there and also the people that were affected. We weren't welcomed either. There was a lot of weird looks. No one would talk to us because we were white and male. And I can definitely confirm that because of the disparity of which the couple were treated. And that behavior has been subtle throughout time, but it's kind of always been there of like, no, you don't have a seat in this conversation because you have too much power. And it's like, really, does every white male have the same level of power? Or is it because we're talking about the 1%, right? The people in governance and people in police uniforms or whatever, like whatever group you're looking at in terms of systemic problems. Usually it's people with money, governance, finance, policing, etc. Or the systems around that. Those people are generally rich, generally white, and they are the ones with power. There are many more people from every group, not just white people, not just black people, but every group that are more likely to be poor because that 1% owns, 50% of the world's wealth? So we're like, if you're talking to someone that's trying to have a conversation and understand the topic more, and you're shutting them down because of that power dynamic that you're attributing to them that's kind of mostly social and systemic, but you're putting that on the individual, that's where I have my issue, and that's where I back away and go, look, you don't like me, and I'm not going to be able to have any kind of conversation with you that would be constructive. Like, you've already demonized me.
Yeah, and it's tough because you want to have that conversation, and you want to be part of the solution, not the problem.
Yeah.
And there's so much distrust and so much hurt. Really, it comes from a place of hurt. And that's a hard barrier to break. And, as hurt and sad as I want to be by it, I'll never understand half of their plight. Of any of these groups that have been, marginalized. I can't.
And to admit that we are also part of the problem to some degree.
And I'm just like, man, I would love to be part of this conversation. I don't feel welcome to the table. I don't feel like, I could bring something of value to you that is going to bring you any kind of resolution and or joy at the fact that I'm just trying. You know what I mean? And that's a hard one. The closest I've gotten to that is with the LGBTQ community, wherein I made a post publicly stating that I spent the better part of my childhood as a homophobic individual. And due to acts that had been perpetrated against me by my uncle and his gay lover. And, but through communication, through connecting with other people of the LGBTQ community, I realized that they're just people. They just want to be loved. They just want to be able to love who they want to love, and they weren't there to hurt me.
Yeah.
And through that post, I did get quite a bit of people that were like, "Holy shit, man! Thank you for sharing. This is really awesome to see that you were able to overcome that kind of hate and disdain."
Yeah.
And that's the closest I've ever come to being welcome to the conversation. But even still, being just a married white male, a lot of times I'm not welcome to that conversation either.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that we are well connected to the community.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It really is.
Did my graphics card just die? Oh boy. Oh no, we're good. Sorry. Streamlabs was acting a bit funky.
I don't know what the resolution for that'll ever be. I honestly don't.
Yeah. As in the conversation.
Well, just in general, like, there's so many generations of hurt and so many generations of distrust and the whole, like, okay, we're helping now, and then all of a sudden, no, we're not helping.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, how many times are people gonna believe? How many times are people gonna open their heart just to be constantly shut down again or hurt again?
Yeah.
When it's easier to be and live your life guarded.
That is a really yeah, because psychologically you can't be free with your life, and you can't get free of the psychological torment of acceptance in social standing. Like, hierarchy and needs are a big thing I look at. Like, you have your shelter on the bottom, you have your food, your water, you have, then above that you got your relationships, your social kind of like what is it? Oh, that's shelter. Yeah, shelter, safety, and then above that, then you have social stuff like friendship and love or sex in a certain sense sometimes. And then above that, you have the ability to play on the level of someone that has all those things, and then you can go, okay, well, what can I do in the world that's going to be good? What can I do to fulfill myself or help other people or fulfill others, or to fulfill my goals is another way to look at it too, if people aren't driven like me to help others.
Right.
Yeah.
And one of the sad parts about that is then, you try and genuinely do that, and people accuse you of being, doing it just to sate or stoke your own ego.
Yeah, virtue signaling.
Like, and I can't do anything.
Yeah.
In this world, in general, without being judged one way or the other, so that, like, there's a lot of conversations I just won't engage in.
Yeah.
Because of exactly that fact. It's like, no matter what position I take, I'm wrong. Simply by existing in the form that I exist, I am wrong. So I will just sit over here in the corner and shut my fucking mouth.
And that's really hard, because I think for your generation, or your are you in your 30s?
Oh, thank you. I just turned 40.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, you're around Umi's age, and he's talked about how his generation hasn't had a clear idea of what it is to be a man. And I've had the experience in my generation of men are fucking monsters and they're evil, and you need to watch out for every single thing that you think or want to do, because if you slip up, you're going to be raped in a prison. And it's kind of like that now, where there's an oversensitivity.
Oh god, I was warned the same thing. Like, why are we all told that?
I don't know how I got told that, right? Like, no one said to me directly, you're a monster, you might go to jail if you keep doing that. I didn't do anything wrong. It was just that the perception of men for me was they're all monsters that all want to rape women, that will be violent in marriages.
These angry, vile creatures that have no business roaming the earth.
Yeah, how dare they want to be hyper aggressive and in their own space, maybe doing fighting or whatever. Like, oh yeah. Like, don't fight, be nice. And I've played a lot of the counter game of like, okay, what is it to be a male, and what things do I need to cut out? But I cut out so much of myself that I no longer had confidence. I couldn't even be aggressive enough on the level of confidence, like interpersonal interaction, to have the interaction. Like, you have to be disagreeable enough to talk to someone, or agreeable enough to agree with them. And I was a freaking doormat the entire fucking time. And what made me the doormat? Society, because I thought I was a monster at every step of the way. And it's an unfortunate way that I and people around me, I'm not even sure if everyone's had this experience, because maybe it was just me with my sister and her low resolution ideas of what feminism is in her young years. You know, there are cases of hypocrisy that I can point out, but they aren't valid to me because she was young and she hasn't done them again. Well, yeah, there was one when she was an adult that I'll tell you about. She said she once asked me to rewash the cutlery because she didn't know where my hands had been. And I asked, what do you mean? Well, you're a boy, you're dirty. And I'm like, I just washed my hands before I started putting the dishes away. Should I wash them
Boys
again?
Boys are inherently dirty. That's
there we go.
That's a great misgeneralization, I think.
Yeah.
I think humans in general are dirty.
Yes!
Like, I've seen just as many.
Everyone should wash their hands! And it's not just
Everybody
boys!
should wash it. Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Ah. God damn. Like, imagine if you assumed that you were cleaner than other people because you are a woman. Like, that's just such a fucked up way to think. But you'd think the opposite way for some reason. And I'm not saying that she was sexist in that. It was just a misguided thought. She had a belief.
Well, let's take another one, right, on the opposite side. For the better part of my youth, and even into my young adulthood, I legit, and this is going to sound really asinine, I legit thought that women didn't fart.
Bro, do you want to hear an even worse one? I'll make you feel real good here.
Like, legit, because my sisters never really broke wind in my presence.
Right.
Just thought that women don't fart. My wife can totally fart.
Absolutely.
RocketGirl will destroy a room, buddy. But listen, there is actually a medical reason for a portion of that. She can't burp.
Ah.
She physically cannot burp.
It's a one-way gas system right there.
Guess what? That air's gotta go somewhere.
Fucking call the plumber and get the airlock out.
Yeah.
That's some random
She's like,
particular
wow,
knowledge.
just throwing me out there.
Hey, look, RocketGirl, I'll throw myself out harder. It's a similar story to you, Zyphon. When I was in high school, not college level, but like I was teenage years. I didn't know that women could come. Is probably the right way to look at it. I knew there was a difference in ejaculate in terms of like that, and that's kind of what I thought of as coming to release ejaculate. And that was the conception I had, and for some reason the conversation went somewhere and I said the phrase, "Oh, but women don't come." And I got laughed at very, very hard at school. They were like, "What? You think women don't come? What?" And I'm like, "Oh shit." And it's because when I look back at it, all of the sexual stuff that I had been taught up until that point wasn't about gratifying the other person. It was the scientific side, and it was porn. It wasn't about actually having good sex with the opposite sex or with the same sex. It was a show, and that was the misconception I had. And it was weird that, unfortunately, I had seen a lot of porn where women were acting in pleasure the entire time. And I had no... in any case, it's a really personal fucking point. But the point is, I didn't have a conception of what sex was and therefore stepped up because it just wasn't in the resolution. And, goddamn. Yeah, and I think that can happen to anyone. And a lot of it is my dad didn't have those kinds of conversations with me. None.
That brings up a really good point. I mean, okay, so we're bringing a child into this world, right? At what point do you feel it's actually appropriate to have a conversation with sex about a child, or with a child about sex in general? Like, if they're your child or someone in your care.
Yeah. I would express to my chat, anyone under 18, please do get parental guidance on this content. If you're like XGen, get your parents' permission to be here. And XGen...
Willy Bunny just nailed it. At any age they ask. If they're old enough to ask, I believe they're old enough to learn something. Because it can prevent a lot of things. There's a lot of things that people aren't taught. And so how many women go through life calling their vagina a cookie?
Oh, yeah.
Or, something fucking retarded. Pardon my language. It is the language has been retarded.
Yeah, it's been
in
slowed
that
down.
Sense. Like, it has been impeded from being able to communicate its intention. And so, at what point do you sit there and go, okay, wait a minute, I need to take this and actually extrapolate and understand this better, and be able to articulate this to a child. And so I brought up the cookie one as an exact thing because it's actually an issue in our area, and not just in our area, but in a lot of sexual abuse cases for children. And when you're a judge or a lawyer or whatever, and you're having a conversation with a kid, and they're saying, I got touched in my cookie, and you're like, wait, what? Hold on, huh?
Yeah.
Or, my uncle ate my cookie or stole my cookie or whatever. You can't press charges on that because are they talking metaphorically? Are they talking whatever? And there's all kinds of other words that get brought into place.
Yeah.
If my child asks, I'm going to say, you have a penis. It's designed to work with a vagina in order to procreate for the existence of the human species. That's not a hard fucking conversation.
Yep. Speak like an adult, because the adult that child will become.
Scientific terms.
Yeah. Don't treat your children like they're children all the time. You have to go between, If they're feeling upset, sure, ease them. That's cool. But if they're curious, tell them exactly what the information is. Because the adult remembers that information later, and then they will understand what the fuck it means. And if they don't, they've got Google.
They may not understand it when you initially talk to them, and you can even say that. You can say, listen, you're probably not going to understand this right now, but I'm going to teach you this because I want you to understand. I want you to understand that when the time comes, this information is exactly what you need to know, not, oh, I'm so embarrassed I can't talk to you.
That's just ego getting in the way. Get the fuck out of the way, ego. You're telling a future adult key information about functioning as an adult. Jesus, fuck!
Neither of my parents to this day ever had a conversation with me about sex.
Yeah.
Not that I would want them to at this point.
No.
But
bit late.
It actually took my aunt sitting down with me when I was about, I think, 8 or 9 years old. She taught me a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
And then I ended up learning that I had been sexually abused through a random. The teacher went around the class, and I don't know why she ever did this. To this day, it fucks with my brain more so than everything else. I was in my 3rd grade class.
I love a bad sex ed story. Or good sex ed story.
This isn't even sex ed.
Oh my god, what happened?
Just, the teacher went around the class and was like, 1 in 4 of you will end up being sexually abused at some point in your life. I guess they had had a breakthrough or a breakout in the area or something like that. And so she went around the room and she counted 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll be sexually abused. 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll be sexually abused. Son of a bitch! If she didn't land on me on one of them.
Wow!
You were sexually abused, and so I sat very quietly in my seat after class. I could not leave. I couldn't move, and I just sat there, brooding and crying. And she was like, "What happened?" Like, what's wrong? I'm like, you're right. And she's like, what? And I was like, I was. And this was actually how my family found out that my uncle and his gay lover had perpetrated these acts against me.
Right.
Which ended up, like, breaking that whole thing wide open. And, you know, but, so, okay, good. There was a good resolution for it. But, like, I had actually tried to tell my older sister at one point, who was in charge of watching me, that this had happened, and she didn't believe me, and so she ended up getting in trouble.
Yeah.
Because she didn't believe me, and it went about another year to a year and a half before it was actually acknowledged.
And that's why you should, because if she knew more about sex and what you were talking about, she could have translated that.
She was only 3 years older than me. She didn't really know any better either.
Yeah, and
you know what I mean?
Now she's in the firing line.
All she knew was that here's her little brother making some outlandish claim against, you know, his uncle. Like, what do you do with that? You're a teenage girl, or barely even a teenage girl, babysitting a bunch of other kids that are your siblings. Who do you believe? Or why? Why would you believe them?
Yep. You know, especially when they've come up with whack shit before. Kids come up with crazy stuff. They will say untruths because they don't know what happens when you lie. The lessons we've learned is in childhood, that they just don't happen to be there sometimes. And
so I share that more so just to be like, you know, that is the consciousness with which I approach this kind of stuff, because as soon as my child asks, I'm going to be having those conversations with him and say, listen, this is what you need to know. At your age, you need to know if somebody is touching you or approaching you inappropriately.
Yeah.
You need to be aware that you are not to touch anybody else inappropriately. You know, things like that.
Fuck, talk about another hard conversation to have, to just flip the dime a little bit and go to the to women and their safety as they grow up. There are a lot of women that have been raped before they knew what sex was. A lot of people have been, and that's why they got raped, because they didn't know the warning signs. They didn't know what the man that they had only previously seen as an adult figure, they don't know what they're intending. And that is a super real, very, very depressing part of life. If anyone, also there's a link in the chat, if anyone is having trouble with their depression, anxiety, or they are in need of help for suicidal thoughts, please do call your national hotline. I have a link in my chat if you want to check it out.
Please feel free to copy that to my chat.
Yeah, so XGenie, if you would like to go over to Nerdhead and pop it in there, that'd be awesome. Actually, I think that was a Geek and Lily Button Bunny edition. But yeah, there's a.
I think that's excellent.
There's a lot that can be gained from having good conversations with young children about sex, and constructive conversations. This is what it is, you know, and this is what it's for. You don't do that until you hit after puberty, right? Like, and then it's easy to sort out. Sorry, I interrupted you before, and
no, you're fine.
Yeah, it's a difficult thing. It's a real.
Follow on that.
Thank you. It's a real difficult thing to pass together, like, what we need in society, and that's why I'm kind of reaching for the supplemental education. The idea that I can be here as an educator, but not a teacher, like a tutor or a helper or a peer reviewer or just a friendly thinker. You know, if you have problems with your class and you want to bitch talk, not bitch talk, if you want to absolutely rant about what your teacher's doing and the crazy stuff they're doing for your lessons, or the lack of teaching ability they have, then I'll sit there for a half hour. You can pay for the time, that's fine. I'll tell you all about how terrible they are, and then you can take that report to the school. I don't give a hoot. Let's go. I'll start some fights. That'll be my brand, is the educator that starts fights with school.
I'll start some fights?
You want to go? You want to go? I'm already ready to do it for my niece program, dude. And I'm already ready to talk shit about it. It's this business program I'm doing, New Enterprise Incentive Scheme, where the government has set up a program where they require a business plan, financial plan, and budget to start a business and be supported through the niece program. We are doing a Cert 4 in business, which doesn't mean much to Americans. It's pretty much like a college degree level, community college degree level kind of shit, of business. And fuck, where was I going with this? Shit, why did I start talking about that? Oh man, I got stuck in the explanation.
It's all good.
I need to have a break, my dude. I will be back if you want to keep playing and having a good chat. I'm
chilling, man.
Easy.
I'm rocking out some Stream Raiders, and yeah, I'll play a few more casuals, or maybe a comp too. Or,
yeah, do it, man.
Like
I'll be back in about 5 to 10, and I'll see you then.
Yep, sounds good.
Yeah.
There was one game though where our buddy, like whoever our teammate was just like climbing all over us, and we couldn't do anything.
Oh, yeah.
Like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, to be honest, I have not been paying attention. I've just been having a great chat and playing games. You know, like it's kind of that element that you can get when, you know, I
pay attention when I do something redonkulous. Like,
yeah.
like a nice wall to air dribble, like, you know, and then follow it, and you guys are like, whoa, hold on, he still has possession. Like,
yeah. Oh, are you getting my invites? Maybe I should spam you. Spam.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I should have chilled.
No, it's all good. I completely missed at least like 8 of those.
I gotta say, yeah, being stuck in that business course, man, I have so much energy today. First day back streaming, I'm gonna be doing 4 days in a row of the same hours, and it's gonna be, it started fucking strong. I'm telling you what, I have energy. Shut up, XG, and I can spam if I like. That's part of entertainment, at least up to three times. Not too much.
I mean, we're streamers. We can do whatever we want for the content.
Yeah. We don't give a fuck.
It's all about that content.
Oh, you know it. Oh man, yeah, fucking amazing.
Because even when something goes wrong, right? It's our job to be like, oh, dude, this is entertaining. Like, and here's why.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And shit goes wrong all the time.
For some reason, are you in my party? Is my game broken? Maybe. Hold up.
I'm not in your party.
Oh.
I have accepted your invite like 8 gajillion times, however.
I think it'd be broke.
Oh, party is no longer available.
Okay, try the latest one.
Right. Okay. So I'm gonna spam accept.
Yay!
Hey, I'm in. Okay.
It works. It's alive.
Horizon.
Oh, what does he say? Fucking. Flavin'. Look in your DMs, Cakey. No, XGen. I'm playing games.
Oi, the folded flappy puppy children with folded flap ears.
I understood none of that, but it sounded amazing.
You know who it is, too.
Do I?
It's that same dude.
They speak Freud Lavin.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. No.
The wonky director from the Animaniacs.
Okay. Animaniacs, no, I never watched that, unfortunately. I was going for the Professor Frank out of The Simpsons.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Which, I know, okay.
Yeah. Oh man, what did you watch as a kid? What kind of Oh, well, actually, no. Better fucking.
A whole bunch of shit I wasn't supposed to watch.
You gotta push the boundaries somewhere. That's a great place to start. The internet.
I mean, so remember, I told you my parents never taught me about sex, right? We had that conversation earlier. But I did learn about some of it from some of the choice videos they let me watch as a child.
Oh, majestic.
Such as a funny comedy movie starring Roseanne Barr, Dan Aykroyd, and a couple of other people called Exit to Eden.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Exit to Eden was about a trip to a BDSM sex resort in order to catch a internationally known murderer who had never been photographed before, but somehow... the funny kink movie, right? Lily knows. I feel like this is like a rite of passage.
I'm flabbergasted, man. What the heck? That's a swing and a miss in the parenting department, if you ask me. But look, I ain't a parent.
Oh, that's not even the worst of it. So I saw this other movie called Boxing Helena, which is about a guy's dangerous obsession with this woman that led him to amputate both her arms and her legs literally turning her into, you guessed it, a boxed human, and keeping her around for his own twisted sexual pleasures.
Damn, that's fucked up.
Right?
That's like almost worse than Human Centipede. And I thought it'd be hard to beat that, but nah. Fuck, man. Checkmate right there. Good work. Fuck. I'm out. Peace, and you got the win there. Awkward chimes and a bit of the what the hell cowbell for me because they got you that to watch that. Like they said, hey, watch this, or did they just allow you to? What kind of context was there? I cannot hear him. Oh no. I think he's talking to his audience. Ooh.
I am indeed. I'm sorry. Just try to.
It's okay. It's okay. It's all right. It's all right. I look forward to having an audience.
We're talking about Exit the Eden and the other fetish movies, and somebody mentioned a game that came out. So.
Oh yeah. Man, feel free
those
to.
Movies, and the interesting part. So, I don't know. I grew up really way faster, I think, than I should have in some respects, because like I even at the age of 15 worked at a liquor store with my dad and my brother and heard some of the most outlandish fucking jokes a child should never ever hear. Like things I can't even repeat on stream.
Yeah, there was some good ones that came out in the country at times. In my own experience, my family lived out there with my grandparents, kind of living in regional areas, and yeah, when you have farmers that don't have kids around a lot, they forget, and they're 20-somethings and there's not much family there because they're just earning a living, trying to move away from the space they're in, to a city or something.
Yeah.
Xjin says, apparently I watch Cakey, so I hear enough jokes I should not be hearing, but here I am. If that's what you think about me, then yes, and fuck you.
Then you've done your job.
Then I am absolutely on the money. All right. So what you get with Cakey, I ain't lying when I say I'm full of shit. It's literally shit jokes, shit comedy, and shit talking. 24/7. No.
Listen, cursing and toilet humor apparently actually really works because you got South Park to model after that.
Well, at least on us
they figured it out. Figure it out.
Figure it out. Come on now. Figure the fuck out. Get over it. Get over it. Over it. Over it, yeah? Yeah, that's probably it. I love different accents, but I'm fucking terrible at them. Like, especially for the locals. When I try and do American, I sound like a Valley Girl. Unless I'm doing the movie guy.
In a world, one man, something dark side. The world is gonna get destroyed and stuff. My weakness is writing. In cinemas near you.
Next me, who gonna get you? We moved from some subject. Yeah, go on. Prior warning for everyone.
What you watch as a children.
Yeah.
I believe. And I said a lot of inappropriate shit I should not have been watching. Beyond that, I watched G.I. Joe and Bill Nye the Science Guy and a whole bunch of awesome stuff.
Yeah, if you're ever on breakfast radio, that's the one you should go for. I think. It's breakfast TV, so the PG version. I think it's a rite of passage to watch fucked up shit as a kid. It actually kind of helped me fix my depression, if I'm honest, a little bit.
So, okay, do you remember, speaking of fucked up shit, watching as a kid and really adjusting the mentality of your actual adulthood and everything like that?
Yeah.
Do you remember there was a video called Faces of Death, a movie? That was banned in 39 countries or some shit.
No, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, my friends got a hold of it and started watching it, and I could not sit through it. It was literally people killing themselves or killing other people, and legit.
Yep.
like showing human demise, and I was like, I can't do this. I fucking can't do this.
Man, that hit me so hard. I was like, I can't even fucking save this girl. Look at me there. Yeah, I watched stuff in high school that was like that, like penis mutilation. I mean, is that against TOS?
Is what now? Self-mutilation?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can discuss it as long as you're not like showing.
Yeah, it's not the content we're talking
like,
about.
Like if we're discussing it for the fact that like to simply say watched a movie with it and it fucked my brain, like don't go watch. You know what I mean? Like
yeah. One thing
we're not condoning the behavior. We're not.
Yeah. One weird thing.
We're simply sharing an experience on that.
Yeah.
Or well, I am.
Geek says, don't do that on stream. Yeah, good advice. Discussion is okay. Oh, yeah, totally. Oh my god, I'm so distracted.
This guy has gotta be hating. He's like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
This poor third guy. I feel for him, man. Look at me, Spock! Oh my god.
Just read what I said to him.
Casual bra. Climbeth thine titties. And that, my friends, is how you don't give a fuck. That's how you have fun. Oh man. Woo! Yeah, grins ever wins for me. You know that. You know that.
We just sit here and take the piss the whole time. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't care. It could be competitive and I'd be playing the same way right now. I don't give a shit.
Exactly, man. Exactly. Fuck. God damn. Oh yeah,
I enjoy hanging out with you, man. It's so fun.
I do too, man.
It really
it's
is.
great to chat with you.
We need Umi up in this bitch. Like,
yeah, where is that motherfucker? Come on over.
We need the trio, man.
Umi, if you're hearing me, if you hear this, you're a survivor.
You're within the sound of my voice.
Umi! Just yell that constantly. Surely your chat will soon get annoyed with me and go.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine us three having a lively conversation?
Oh look, a penis. Oh no. Is that wait? Looks more like a bone. A dog's bone. Really long bone. Ah, I see the joke. Wait. Are you here, Zyphon? Are you here, buddy?
I'm here.
Are you all good? Are you all good?
I can't move.
Are you all good?
I need an adult.
I am an adult.
Shit, I am one.
Run away. People have been bullying for 8 years. Hey man, that does eventually stop, you know? People bully because they have stupid games that they play.
Oh, Emil, why?
Oh no,
why, Emil?
Oh no.
Emil literally took the ball away from me. That is okay. Cakey,
Yes.
if you want to know one of my pet peeves in Rocket League, it's that right there. I had a full control play to take the ball either up the wall or anywhere I wanted to go. Emil coming back towards our goal hits the ball away from me and then passes the ball to the enemy team.
Right.
And casual or not, that's a dick thing to do.
Oh man, you're right on. You're right on. You gotta give people space. That's like cutting them off in traffic. You just don't do that. Fuck.
Look, he even jumped into that!
Yeah.
He should have been going to the goal!
Rotate, people. Rotate.
What a butt nugget! It's fine.
Oh my god, so toxic. I'm never talking to you
There's
again.
actually not much that really, like, tilts me.
Yeah.
Like, really tilts me. But it's like, at the level we're playing at, theoretically, right? This is crap that should have been learned in gold. Like,
Yeah.
oh no!
You think should have, hey. I guess I can agree with you. It should be learned by people that want to improve. Sometimes I like this is why I hate Smurfers. They fuck shit up with Elo. I like that they put the rank disparity in to some degree. I like that, but not all the time. Like it's good when you're solo queuing that you don't have someone that is actually a bronze that is their account, they've played forever, and that is actually them in bronze, and a diamond, and you're platinum, thinking, oh, okay, I'll get carried by the diamond, hopefully. No, and they may not. It's just not a good time.
And
it's
then the bronze carries everybody.
Oh, bro, yeah, sometimes. Fucking Smurfs, I tell you. They're everywhere. Blue little fuckers. Picking berries and shit. Yeah, I mean, it's annoying enough doing ranked in a normal game, right? You have competition. There are people that are toxic.
Right.
You can't always choose your teammates. And if you do, you have a different kind of elo system paired up against you. For anyone who doesn't know, if you're in a group, you will get matched with maybe individuals, either individuals or another group. And if it's individuals, then they will be, on average, higher elo than you. On average. So that can really affect things. If you are playing with someone who's new, and you drop in as this 900 elo player or a diamond level player, then you're just going to absolutely wreck face, and it won't be an actual competitive environment. It'll be you running in there with your thousands of hours of playing, or hundreds of hours of playing Rocket League, and wrecking face.
What are you trying to say? I do have thousands.
I mean, look, dude, don't we freaking all?
But I'm not that good.
Do you want to measure dicks on how many hours you've got? Let's go.
No.
How many you got? How many you got? Come on. Let's
I
go.
account for 5,000.
Ooh, shit. That is good. That is good, man. I have 3,500 at the last count. 3,600.
Now, I will admit to some of that being padded, because there are times I have literally left my
Bro, always playing,
computer on
always
and-
slaying.
You're like, oh, no. All 3,000.
Yep. Every single hour, minute I was there. Well, except for the times I left to go to the toilet. You know, that doesn't count a lot, or a lot, I suppose.
I don't know. It could add up.
I used to always be really slow at making coffee too. I'd be fucking, people would make fun of me. They'd be like, bro, why did it take you 30 minutes to make a cup of coffee? I'm like, because I got to use a percolator and grind the coffee and boil the water and then stand there and watch it in case it overflows. Like, I don't want to burn my coffee, right? They're like, get a fucking coffee machine, you pleb. And I'm like, yeah, but, you know.
You're like, or I could have good coffee.
I'll just waste my time every time instead of just purchasing a good coffee machine to begin with. Now I have a good, okay enough coffee machine. So the classic American drip over into a jug dealio. None of this percolator shit. Get out of here.
We've had the Cremax, we've had the French press,
Ooh.
which we really love.
French
the
press is nice. I do like it.
And then we've also had like the auto things. I think we had, well, we didn't have it, but at one time our office had like the K-Cup stuff and everything.
Yeah.
That was the big one that kind of everybody got stuck on, and I was like, it was really gross.
Yeah. I really loved the pods ones until I realized they were going straight into landfill and not being reused. I was like, well, fuck this. I may as well just have a coffee machine.
Kind of horrible, right? Like,
yeah, that does the espresso thing. You know, it gives me a shot.
Yeah, it's all about that convenience, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's way cheaper. Works out like what, 12 packets per box or something like that. I can't remember. And then that would cost like what, $5? Bro, you could make 30 cups of coffee for $5 a beans. I'm telling you. And water and electricity. You're good. Like, you don't need this stupid machine from Aldi.
And, only 8 hours babysitting your coffee, but,
Yeah. Hey, look, man. No, if you get the pour over thing, the set and forget. Like, you just grind the coffee, put it in the filter, and then it auto heats up the water and puts it over the top of it and drips into a jug. Fuck, you see it on cop shows all the time. I love those. I don't know what they're called, but I think of them as American. Probably not. Probably just me being US is the world again. It's not just you guys.
So,
Australians do it too for some reason.
So speaking of the US versus Australia.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
What is a tradition? Or what is something that if somebody was to come visit you, you'd be like, you have to do this for the real Aussie experience?
Fuck. That's a good one. there are a lot of different answers that I could come up with depending on the person. If they were a drinker, I'd be like, okay, let's go to a craft brewery and show you Australian craft brew. Because it's not that bad. But that's because also I'm a hoity-toity beer guy. That when I drink beer, I don't drink big name brands that do what I call mega swill. I don't like that shit. Just it's close to water and it doesn't do anything. No thanks, it tastes like crap.
Mega swill?
Mega
it sounds
swill.
like...
Yeah.
Oh.
Get the fuck out with that shit. Yeah, that's like, for Australians, that's your 4X,
like an
your
evening
Fosters.
of regret waiting to happen.
Yeah. But I love me a bit of craft beer. A good porter, a good stout, a good freaking ale, IPA. Damn. Yep. And there's some places in Australia that actually do that really well. The other one would be, we should just, like, if I was to take you to a place and give you a stereotypical Australian thing, I'd say, let's go to the hotel. And you'll be like, what the fuck? And I'll be like, yeah, dude, let's go to a freaking country town and go to the hotel and chat to the locals. Because the locals are, like, you don't get the same feel of the people in a city as you do in regional areas. So I'd be like, okay, let's go out to, you know, somewhat touristy, but also somewhat regional. And we'd go to the local hotel. Now, for anyone that doesn't know, hotels typically in regional areas in Australia have food places attached to them or in them. Much like a bread and breakfast or a drive-in motel hotel thing. You know, like, but more ridge ditch and less rich. We wouldn't be going there for the comfort. We'd be going there to be talking to the locals. And trust me, you will get your mind blown about the way that they speak, where they come from, what they do, what they think about every day, what they think of city people in Australia. And then you could go visit the city, and then you could go to look through that lens, because that is a good way to understand the atypical views in Australia that are typical, the stereotypical views that everyone thinks of as Australian, like the casual racism.
Or not so casual in some instances.
Yeah. Look, we're just casual about our racism. It's not like we put, like, it's sad. I say we as well. I'm not, you know, I take that shit serious, but there's definitely stuff that culturally differ, right? Like, we certainly step on some toes with our language sometimes.
I was gonna say scorpions.
Oh, man.
I don't like finish this sentence. We step on scorpions.
Oh, man. Lock down your entire country for 300 cases of COVID. Well, no, it wasn't 300 cases of COVID, man. It was 1,800 at one point when it spiked. And when you guys saw those numbers without lockdown because of the staged effect of pandemics and the way that transmission happens with things. I'm not an expert, by the way. This is just my opinion. Don't fucking take my fucking opinion for truth or whatever. Check it. Go Google it. But I love you, Stabby. I love you because you're absolutely right. But we have that advantage because we're already a freaking island. So fuck off, all y'all, with your COVID. Get out of here. We're gonna stay safe on our island with a freaking moat, a natural moat around us.
Yeah, didn't we? Like,
that's adorable. We had 7,000 cases in one day.
Joel out to start with?
Stabby's hilarious. I'm sorry. Sorry. Go for it.
No, you're good.
Oh, what did you say? Sorry.
So who kicked the Australias to Australia in the first place?
The cases of COVID.
No. In general. But like before Australia was started, right? It was created as a prison island, right?
Yeah.
Or something?
Yeah.
Who created that?
So the British.
It was England.
Yes, the British. Yeah.
So it's like they kick you out and they're like, hey, fuck you. And then you guys get COVID, locked down, and be like, yeah, nobody's fucking coming here.
Yeah. I mean, if you already got the walls, bro, like, it's hard to get in, it's hard to get out. Like, that's why they did it in the first place. It was hard to get out, right? You couldn't fucking swim for it. Like, good luck, cunt. Sorry, I mean that in a very funny way.
You're gonna be breeding some Olympic athletes.
But I mean, if you could swim for it, they've left Australia already. So you know, we got the weak swimmers. We
Right.
still kept them.
They,
We kept all
they
the criminals
fucking got
that
out
couldn't
before
swim. That's me, guys. Cakey the clown, a fucking idiot who can't. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, the British sent all of their prisoners over. They also wiped out the natives to this land, the indigenous Australians. When they declared when Captain Cook's this absolute cool guy. That's a real piece of shit. You're gonna love this guy. He comes over to WA. No, actually, sorry. He hears about a voyage to Australia, WA. I think it may have been Captain Cook. It was probably someone else. I think I'm wrong on that. Anyway, they find out that Australia is a shithole because WA is mostly desert. Okay? That's the western part of Australia for anyone that doesn't know what I'm talking about with all these shortened things. So they see Western Australia. They land there from the other side of Europe. And they go, yeah, fuck this. This is shit. Nah, fucking crap. Then they go around the other side of the freaking planet and they hit up the east coast, which is full of jungle, freaking farmland already populated by indigenous Australians. Sorry, they used to be called Aboriginals. That is now no longer PC. Well, correct in my view. So the Brits came here, they looked at it, and they didn't see any towering frickin' structures or people with the same language as them and same color. And they declared the place Terra Nullius, which means no life, no control. And by doing that, they then put down the flag and said, oh, this is British land, fuck you. And then commenced the genocide of all of the native Australians that lived there.
God.
There has now been proof that they existed there as a nomadic amounts of cultures, not just one. Thousands of cultures in different spots around the. If you go and look up on Google, Aboriginal map of Australia, you'll see how many states they had and how they roamed their area. There was upwards of 100,000 people easily sustaining themselves just on the east coast of Australia as nomadic tribes. They weren't seen as people, but they had farms, they had communities, they understood how to hunt and actually grow native species in the land. Because I can tell you, I'm about to go on a rant. Are you ready? I mean, I don't want to take it anywhere, but here it fucking comes. We started farming
You're like,
over here
you
with...
fucking cunt,
Yeah!
yes!
Fuck the Brits coming over here. I hate the fact that we didn't just let the native Australians do their fucking shit and live their lives and come over and give them some tech and see how they did. Instead, no, we came over and killed my ancestors came over and killed most of them. By the way, white guy, European, Caucasian, whatever you want to call me, I am associated with that, and I accept that. And here's my anger about it. Because fuck those guys for doing so. They completely wiped out farming nomads. Farming nomads. That's just the step before industry and larger groups of people being able to sustain themselves and have, like, you know, more massive wars for sure, but even huger societies and better educations, consistency across time, less death for the young. You know, fuck. You just came along with all your power and decided to kick the sandcastle down because you were bigger. Fuck you guys. So fuck the Brits for coming over to Australia. But even further than that, we fucked our farming industry and the land.
So how do you really feel about that?
No, I love it actually. I love the fact that my people came over and completely wiped out all the... No, I shouldn't say that phrase. Someone will clip that and go, oh my god, racist, fucking neo-Nazi! And I'll be like, well, did you listen to the whole conversation?
Did you miss that whole casual racist part?
It's what I do. No, it's not what I do. But yeah, no.
It's
the history.
What your country do.
The history of Australia is deeply, deeply racist. If you hear shit from any Australian talking shit about American racism, nah. You know, they don't get to say shit. Because you had your different history, same type of shit, different history. They do not get to talk.
Oh, sure.
Australians don't get to talk shit about fucking slavery, racism,
Well, it's because
genocide.
humans in general are very tribalist.
Absolutely.
And so if you do not fit the tribe aesthetic and or general appeal and structure, then every tribe has had racism against each other at some point or another.
Bro,
Like,
did
it's
you
just-
mean to do that?
It's a fucking matter of survival. What?
Look at this. You just hit it square down. No. Oh.
That was you, bud.
Oh. Oh, thanks, Slag. I thought it was all you. Alternate dimension here. Thanks, everyone. Yep.
You
Fucking
hit that, bud.
nailed it. All right. Okay, never mind.
This dude is so in disbelief about his own shot that he thought I had to have hit it.
Well, in my dimension, man, I got 190 ping. What is it? 169. In my dimension, I saw me hit it because you hit it into me. So yeah.
Oh.
I like to call them
Oh
alternate
no, I did.
dimensions.
Yeah. I hit it to you.
Yeah.
But you hit it.
Oh, okay. I did a thing. Woo! Yeah.
That's it.
Ooh.
Oh.
You can kind of see how my personality, like, I'm pretty predisposed to.
It comes alive like once we get you talking.
Oh, bro, man, I think being around too many fucking people is my biggest problem a lot. Like, I didn't have a lot of one-on-one time with people to have deep conversations, or at least people weren't as good
Fair
at
point.
it. And because we're always in groups and the most dominant speaker would speak, I'm a bit slower, and sometimes I forget what the fuck I'm thinking about halfway through. It's a thing with me. And you might have noticed me several times in our conversation today that I went, I was saying that for a reason and I completely forgot the reason. What were we talking about? And I like practicing that because I used to back away from saying that because I used to feel like an idiot. Like I'm not paying attention or something like that. But no, my variables are I have a language processing disorder and I need to check in every now and then as to what we're talking about and what we were thinking about. And I've had better conversation because of it. And also, it's made me act more modestly and be able to be more, well, the fucking pitch. Damn. And also be more confident in being a weird ass motherfucker with these like random sounds and voices and woo. It's a good time.
Just embracing exactly who you are, man. That's good.
Yeah. I think everyone should, and if they can, like even to the level of if you're a brutal motherfucker, if you're angry and you want to kill people, I don't know, go join the like SAS or the super special Marine Corps that does all of the tactical insurgency, counter-terrorism, whatever the fuck, and go kill people. Like,
Yeah, they have safeguards against that.
yeah, that's a good
Actually.
point. That's a good point. Yeah, you don't want to be murderous.
They're not trying to hire people that just want to go murder people.
Okay.
Despite the whole, point of war being to eviscerate and murder people and stuff like that.
Well, if you can form a drive,
But they've got a problem with people who are psychologically impaired
Yeah.
and who just want to have a gun to
yeah.
have, free reign to go murder.
Yeah, maybe I was
Just a
faulty
little
in
bit of a
saying
difference.
if you want to kill people, join the army. No. If you find yourself aggressive, go act that aggression out in some way. Like MMA fighting, learning jiu-jitsu, or, punching a freaking boxing bag, or going for a really hard run.
Do
or,
a really fucking angry painting.
yeah! Bash the keyboard, blow your instrument really loud, freaking scream into a pillow if that's the thing you want to do. Don't do anything unhealthy if you can avoid it, but sometimes you need to look at less unhealthy things to do to avoid the really unhealthy things to do. So if video games are stopping you from binge eating, that's a good example. If,
What if you video game and binge eat? I'm sorry.
well, that's why I said if they are stopping you.
Oh, that was a pass to you. I'm sorry.
That's cool. I read you, baby. Ooh. I don't know where that came from. I swear to God, man, when I open the tabs, it's like I don't want to demean anyone with Tourette's because I do not have Tourette's. But it's like my brain just goes into Tourette's mode and just thinks of shit to put out and spew. It's great. I love it.
I occasionally think I have a very mild version of Tourette's because I always have to like make noises or like walk up and bite people.
He's a natural born vampire, a hunter, if you will.
Where's that?
I just realized my camera wasn't on.
Oh man, stream alive. Man, I didn't have you coming through for a while when I was looking at myself. So it was funny. We'd be having. I can't wait to look back at the VOD because there'll be a point.
Why I wasn't on camera? That's the point.
I just have to layer stuff, and I was looking at myself, and I was just. I'd be nodding along to silence and music, and then responding to it, like I'm hearing a freaking voice. So,
oh yeah. Because you were hearing me.
Yeah.
The chat wasn't hearing me.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I got
it was a sad time. Yeah. Man, I love chilling and talking this shit with Rocket
It was
League.
the best of times. It was the worst of times.
You know what I love about Twitch and this setting? You know, we get to play games together and talk shit, and that means a lot to me because it reminds me of playing games with my friends. You know, when you'd have, let's go across the ages, like a Super Nintendo, a Commodore 64, or a freaking, even a board game, man. Fucking Pong for some people.
I love the Commodore 64.
Yeah.
I learned how to program on that bitch.
Yeah, dude. Super NES, freaking Super Nintendo 64, up to PlayStation, up to
NES.
Yeah, GameCube, all of any console. Everyone in their childhood.
Can we talk about how amazing Spider-Man on GameCube was?
I never played it. Wasn't my console, unfortunately, at the time. I was Game Boy. Color and shit, you know?
I had the GameCube with that little fucking portable screen.
Dang, you were balling, man.
And Spider-Man. Well, I bought it for myself. Like I was working, like as a fucking teenager, selling cell phones and crap, and like I was pulling bank. I spent an inordinate amount of money on stupid shit when I was a teenager. Had I saved any of that money?
For a row. Yeah. First year of teaching, I spent so much money on because I was earning a fuckload of money teaching because I was skilled and educated and good at my fucking job. But I was spending money on like thousands of dollars of musical instruments, particularly in my tax time. Otherwise, I was buying computer parts here and there. I was upgrading stuff, and then when COVID went to shit, I was like, well, got a streaming PC, better do it. Let's get into this. Fuck it. Oh god. Well, that was a pull shot. Everyone, please applaud this man. Please applaud reality right here with the Nissan Skyline, setting it up. Where's the the pop, the own goal. Cakey, you are too good at own goaling. You look like you're a fucking a traitor. You know. I'm on the other team now, guys. Sorry. I'm so bad at the game that I should play for the enemy team. That's the line. Yeah. Whew. Man, when did you know that you knew that you really wanted to do what you were doing? That's a really hard question. Yeah, this is probably really confusing. It's a hard question to phrase.
Yes. I've wanted to be an artist my entire life, and I was constantly told that it wasn't a valid profession. So that was fun. But it was really when I was in high school.
Yeah.
So I was dead set on going into culinary arts, actually.
Oh yeah.
Learning French, getting a culinary arts degree, and going and studying over in France. And
god damn, dude.
I was on track to do that, and my 8th grade teacher failed me because my hair was too long. And so it put me on an entirely different grade path and everything.
What the fuck?
I know, right? It was my fault. I was a cheeky bastard, dude. I was sitting in her
Yeah, good on you for being a
geometry
cheeky
class.
bastard. We need more of those cunts in the world.
So I was sitting in her class with my hair all out in front of my face like Kurt Cobain.
Yeah.
And you know, I was being a fucking grungy, emo, gothy bastard.
Yeah.
You know. Emo wasn't a word at that time, by the way. And if it was looked down on very poorly.
Oh, yeah.
By the goths.
Yeah, that's the South Park thing, right? Where they're like, there's a difference between emo and goth. Yeah, I never got that because it had transferred to only emo. By the time I got into high school, man, it was just emo. And other than that, like, there was depressed, and then there was emo depressed. And emo depressed was you were depressed, but you were like trying to show it off, essentially as a trait.
Whereas goth was just like, fuck everybody, I'm wearing solid black and chains and spikes, and if you come near me, I'm just likely to
Leave.
cut you and
Get the
leave.
fuck out, like,
Or
fuck
bite you for the effect of it.
Fuck yeah. Why not? Get the fuck out of my space. If I can bite you, you're too close, sir. Get the fuck out. Well, I mean, Judge, he shouldn't have been that close if he didn't want his nose bitten off, okay? All right?
Right?
Self-fucking-defense. I stood my ground.
So, but, after I came to the realization that, I love cooking. Absolutely adore cooking. In fact, I do a lot of it even now. RocketGirl gets treated to quite a few culinary treats here and there.
Oh man, that is the best thing with partner.
But I knew that I wanted to go into culinary arts. I knew that I wanted to be a family person and be at home and work from home or have the ability to not have to spend nights and weekends with my kids. Stuff like that. Oh my god, this is a clusterfuck. My dad worked 3 jobs, my mom worked 2 jobs, they were never at home. So I made a pact with myself that regardless of what I did in life, I was going to be able to be at home for my child.
Awesome, dude.
So when you look at that and you compare that to being a chef, guess what? You work nights and weekends, you work holidays. Those are your bread and butter things, and that's how you survive. Could I have made a lucrative living off of it? Sure. Would I probably have enjoyed it? Sure. Would I have been nearly as fulfilled as I am at this point? I don't know. Because I feel like I really embraced art. I've made products that have gone all around the world. I've made board games, playing cards, all these other different things that have ended up in people's hands and driven them and inspired them. I've got 20 different people that I've worked with in art that now have made art a career. You know, like, I don't know that I would have done that with culinary arts. I don't know that I would have been so giving of my time and knowledge. I would have probably hoarded it for myself. I don't know. And that's one of those things you'll never know, right? So anyway, that's about high school was when I really made the transition and said, you know what, I want to do graphic arts. I want to do printing. I want to do product design, art, illustration in general. And then I went into animation and did none of those things.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that was me. I was supposed to go. Oh, this is unranked. You can.
I'm chill. Yeah, I don't fuck.
We've just been chilling. Oh, Cakey, you're not even in the party now. Somehow it
yeah.
Unparty dust.
It's done goofed on me. Yeah. I'd have to reset that. Tufang! Non-meta plays. Yes. It's quite a thing to have a lot of dreams and follow them. You know, maybe not all of them. Maybe not all of them will work, but to follow them, that's an admirable thing to me. Like, you could come to me with anything, but if it was something that you were driven to do on some level, I go, fucking awesome, man. Like, I wouldn't have done it. I don't find fucking food that interesting. Like, I like eating, but I don't like cooking.
Oh man, I love food.
I should try and rephrase that.
I love food. I love cooking. I love experimenting with flavor palettes.
Yeah.
Like,
and I think that's something I didn't notice, but I knew with being a musician is that it would be easy in some ways, but hard in others to be able to have a family because the work is inconsistent. It's usually at night, and I'm usually going to be coming home at weird hours or traveling weird places or being out of the area, you know. So if I didn't have a partner in that system of a family that could function with that, then that's just non-tenable.
Right.
And
not fair.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I've also thought the flip side of it, like, am I happy to be at home and support someone in their career? And I think, yes, I'm totally happy to do that. But I'm not the one that gets pregnant. And I'm not the one that deals with that shit.
Are you sure? Because they are making some medical advancements.
Really? Men can do a womb thing? I mean, fuck, man. I probably would. If I was successful one day.
Would you do it?
And if I could have an asexual
kid. Do you think
kid.
you would carry a baby if you could?
If I could guarantee that the baby was safe and that it was like that of a female pregnancy, like well, that'll become non-PC in the future. A normal pregnancy, the word normal there. But if it was just like a natural pregnancy that wasn't artificially inseminated in a male, and wasn't a woman, I'd want to make sure that that was
it has to be natural. Like let's say males evolved
at least up until the level
where
of cesarean,
they had the
right?
ability to produce and carry a child.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I would for sure. Absolutely. If either of us could do it, I would. I'm a very agreeable, caring person. Like, and it's something that people walk over all the time, and I need to be able to have that in some way for like either a pet or a project or a community or my work. That never has stopped, and and I think that the problems that I had with being a musician, being a teacher, like I was able to be in a kind of like father role. Like I think of it being as like a parent to all, right? Like I decided a long time ago I'm not going to have kids, because I'd also, side note, I don't look down on people who do have kids. It's your choice. My choice is that my partner is primary in that decision. Until I can have kids, they're the ones having the kids. So to answer your question, yeah, if I could have a kid asexually, I totally would, if I was able to guarantee that I could get that kid a great life, give that kid a good life as a single parent or as a parent that, you know, there's socialization issues that happen when you don't have a broad amount of people interacting with the child, and that's important. And I mean, you know, housemates could help, freaking partners and all that, but down to it, it's about a partnership, and I wouldn't do it alone if I couldn't. You know, I'd be very, very, very cautious about that, because I don't want to be a dick. Like, I don't want to be a piece of shit that brings a life into a world that's got climate change, that has overpopulation, where there's not a very bright future for a lot of people. Now, I say that in conjunction with my parents weren't perfect. I felt the shocks of that, and I fear having that impact on other people. Now, I'm still playing the game of father to all, giving advice, like right here. I mean, in a very natural way, teaching and passing on information or finding higher resolutions, as I identified earlier. Like, I like playing that game in general, even if I don't know shit. We can still go on this lovely journey of conversing about a topic and learn some shit and think about it. And that's an essence of teaching that I really aspire to capture and repeat throughout my life as much as possible, because that's what helped me to learn how to speak and to be driven to live, essentially. If I'm to talk about...
I didn't realize you ended up dipping out of the game, I guess, because...
Oh, yeah, with Drop Party. I totally forgot. My gosh. Rocket League servers need to work their shit out. Are you winning? Holy, how'd you join me? What? Or did I join you?
What? Are you in my match?
Yeah, I'm in your party. Can I join your party? Wait.
Oh, yeah.
Game is full. Dang-a-lang. Whoa, dang-a-lang.
You could if if somebody leaves and I tell you when it's available, you could definitely join us. Oh my god, this guy.
I'll get ready.
Oh my god, these guys.
Ripperoonie to Zyphon. And I think the echoes of that mechanism of having conversation be the function of learning and development and sharing, and there's a lot of different elements, but it's like, share your ideas and don't be tied to your own ideas too much. Be able to be flexible and take new information in, because you can still have a conversation with someone even if you don't know very much, and
Sure.
And you also don't need to beat someone down even if you think you're right. You know? Like, fuck, giving them the benefit of the doubt. Like, if you look at the Nazis back in Germany, 19 whatever, World War II, they were driven by social order such that they didn't even know, like the Nazis of the time, most of them didn't know how terrible Nazis were. Some of them did, and their leaders definitely did. Hitler, that guy. But not everyone that was a Nazi knew how terrible the regime was. And because of that, we saw a lot of expat Germans afterwards. Like, it was all about propaganda. They were saying, oh, the Jews are at war with us and we need to kill them and all that stuff. And so they set them up as this enemy of the state, and therefore the state bound together in that tribalistic way that we now know of as kind of not great, not very good to do.
Yeah.
You know, don't do
Should we last,
genocide.
by the way, so you can start a new game.
Oh yes.
I have a brief joke interjection there.
Yeah, go on.
Because you brought up the Nazis. Do you know the person who corrected Hitler's speeches was indeed a grammar Nazi?
Ah, nice. Beautiful. Fucking wow. You are majestic. Thank you, sir. That was amazing. Immaculate. Oh. God damn. This guy's better at the job than I am. Well, that's what experience gets you, people.
Oh man, that's a dumb one. I don't even remember when I originally heard that, but I was like, I'm holding on to that one forever.
That's a good one to say at a baseball game. That's why I went for.
Well, and if it's contextually like appropriate,
yeah.
right? Like if somebody is talking about Nazis or whatever, you can go, oh, by the way.
Hey man, it was unheard enough that I did not see it coming. Boom! That's an old one. Oh, I'm sorry. Call the cops. Jerk police. Take me away. Bind me up. It's too much. It's too much. How? I need to take a break soon.
Do you sell Epiphany? And I was like, Epiphany?
Oh man.
He's like, yes, Epiphany. And I go, you mean Epiphone? He goes, yes, Epiphany.
Oh, that's good. Oh man.
I was like, yeah, dude, we sell those. And he goes, okay, good. What about Ibanez? It was the most amazing thing to me. Because, listen, now I laugh at that because that was my initial reaction as a youth.
It's so innocent.
Going,
I love it.
Wait, really? Like,
they read it.
everybody knows the brand name Epiphone. Everybody knows the brand name Ibanez.
Yeah.
But when you hear it pronounced from somebody who has those Spanish backgrounds where these names originated from, the pronunciation changes everything.
Yeah.
It changes everything. It's a game changer. And you're just like, oh, shit.
Yeah, as well as in the Spanish-speaking community,
wrong.
they might understand the connection. Like, oh, yeah, I get why you've said that like that. You mean this guitar. Okay, great. But Epiphany to an English speaker is too disconnected from Epiphone, because Epiphone's the logo and it's not the original
because
word.
one ends with a Y, the other ends with a phone.
And that's a massive thing, I think, for anyone that goes and reads something and doesn't know the spelling.
Linguistics is massively important.
So listening to good speakers is really good. And we have so much access to that on the internet. Like, go listen to podcasts, find people that you find interesting and listen to them. Seriously, just do that. And you will be inspired beyond belief on whatever the fuck you're
Heck, you've
listening
got
about.
you've got that at your local library, or,
Yeah.
or there's TEDx talks in a lot of areas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If you can't get out to a TEDx talk, like go listen to. There's a lot of public speaking forums
Mm-hmm.
where each city has like different stuff. Like you'd be surprised sometimes just sitting there and what you can learn about like your city, your culture, like all this stuff. You're like, oh shit, like I had no idea.
Oh damn, you're already in the party, and like I was just chilling. I thought you were still playing.
I've just been doing freestyle this whole freaking time.
Fuck yeah!
Well, not freestyle, but just free play training.
You know what? We're chilling so much. I'm gonna be doing 2v2s with you. Let's go. I need a slower pace than 3s to be able to comprehend everything. Yeah, it's a wonderful thing. I think that's what really inspired me in my well, I'm in my late 20s now. Up until now, in the last few years, what's really inspired me is good role models and good speakers on various levels. At first, I was interested in good speakers on the political level, and that's not a fun game to play. I backed away from that fucking shit because there's a lot of manipulation there, and I'm like, nah, fuck it. Not gonna play that game of politics. Right? Get that out of my life. I'm already anxious enough. Thanks. Bye. Bye. I don't need Ben Shapiro. I don't need fucking what's the left Turks, whatever they are. I don't need to watch that.
I don't even fucking know, dude.
I also don't need my local media and news. I don't need that shit. That's okay. Conscious ignorance is a thing that I've really enjoyed indulging in, particularly because I was driven to a lot of anxiety and depression because of the state of the world, because of COVID, etc. And I found it was a good choice for me to back away from knowing what I was knowing. Essentially, each day I was getting reminded that, yeah, COVID's going on. There's people dying.
Did you actually know, or were you...
And that's,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's the other thing is
what did you actually know versus what were you being led to believe?
Well, that's another point to the conscious ignorance, right? Because if I can't guarantee that the information is correct, then why the fuck am I listening to it? Fuck it off. Like, I don't believe the news. I think it's important
to be aware of different stories that are coming from different sources, but trying to be conscientious enough and aware enough to ask questions and not just take each news outlet's source at face value.
Yeah.
I think that's important.
Yeah, it takes me a particular level of control to engage with politics without going down the routes of, or the train tracks of, like, negative thought about the other side and playing the us versus them mentality. And I noticed about it myself and said, yeah, look, okay, I got to check out of this at least a little bit. And when I check in, I have to be mindful of what I'm thinking while I'm listening to it, and also what I'm taking in, but I make it very basic. I want to know what the average Joe, so I go for my average Joe news, and then everything else is basically my friend groups.
Oh my god.
That was a mad
They're
flip.
freaking bumps, dude.
And
the bumps the entire time.
Yeah.
He just switched and just went straight for bumps.
Yeah. Because I reckon if you are overwhelmed by the state of the world, like, I know a few people that are the more you know, the harder it can get to deal with. Because you can be like, oh, the government's doing this and that wrong, and there's this going on over here, and if they just sat down and talked about this, and this, then they'd be fine, but we can't do that because blah, blah, blah. You can go insane down the rabbit hole of what needs to be fixed in the world. And that sometimes is, for me especially, it was too big to deal with, and I was overwhelmed, and I eventually just stopped moving because the machine was never going to be efficient enough, and so I kept changing the machine until it just didn't function normally anymore. It was
you get numb to things.
Yeah. Or I was using all my fuel stupidly, right? Like, come on. Concentrate on what's important is basically what I found,
And the fear and sheer, and utter panic that a lot of times it evokes in people is, something as well. And then people are driven out of that fear and panic to behave towards each other in ways they wouldn't normally behave.
Yeah. especially with the augmentation of the internet and oh, my headset has just cut out, so I need to plug it in.